Okay, so the first thing is first, I've made this little graph button. Since we'll have multiple different types of graphs to choose from, I think this will be easiest. So you click this and we'll have like 2D scatter plot, 3D scatter plot, 4D scatter plot, and a 3D surface plot. Okay, and so we're going to need to show off 3 of those. So it was already important, but this makes it extra important that we're all on the same page of kind of the order of selection here that the user does and these values. Okay, so before I get into showing doing these selections, the only other thing I need to bring up is that we need to imagine that there's actually a z here. Notice I changed what was called z earlier when I was showing this off yesterday. It's now loss. So it's always been loss, but we're going to actually at one point use a z, right? And so this might be hard to imagine because this represents a 3D cube of the loss landscape, which we haven't made yet. I don't know if anybody's made it. But so that's the other tricky thing. Just imagine there's a z here, and it's going to be the same as the x and the y. It's just kind of like sampled in a grid in even spaces, okay? So let's get into the graph. So the first thing we're going to want to do is show off a 3D surface plot. So for that, you're going to click graph. There's going to be a little pop-up here. We'll click 3D surface plot. And then, let's see. So we're going to want to grab one experiment. Let's keep it simple. It's a little hard to see here, but just grab the first experiment. And then we're going to go and select, right-click, right like you would, and then go set x-axis, set the y as the y-axis, and for the z, you're actually, let's just imagine the y as the z. You're going to want to select a single value. Let's agree to select 0, okay? Because since it's a cube, if we select a single value for z, it'll make it a slice again, which is what we need for the surface plot, okay? And then we will set we'll right click here, and since we're used for this surface plot, there will actually be a set as z axes, and the loss is where we're going to want the z axes to be. So these represent all those, let's see, sorry. So this surface plot is what we've imagined before in here, these guys, right? So these are the surface plots. So what I just described was that. So let's go back here. Yes. Okay, so let's do the second one. So this is the second graph. It's very similar to the first. So we're going to click graph. We're going to have our pop down, but this time we're going to select a 3D scatter plot, and this is going to be essentially used to compare the same type of data we'd have in the first one, but 2 of them. We're making it a scatter plot instead of 2 3D surfaces because the surfaces would most likely intersect or completely block the other ones. So let's see. So we're actually going to need 2 experiments. So to keep it simple, let's grab the first 2 experiments. Okay. And I think that's it. The axes stay the same. We're still selecting only one z value. The loss is still the z axis. So that should automatically pop up. I think that's all we got to do. So imagine this is a z. Still we have the single z value of 0. I think that's probably the only tricky thing. Okay. And then the third graph. So let's reset. We'll click graph, and this one is going to be a 3D scatter plot and another kind of dimension of data where the dots in the scatter plot are going to change volume. Okay, so don't worry too much, like I got to draw this, but yet again, we need to ensure we've got the right selections. So this is going to be another 0 experiment guy. We only need 1 experiment for this. And this is finally, we're going to be able to use x, y, and z spatial coordinates. So x and y should already be right, but go grab your z here somewhere, right click it, and set it to the z spatial dimension, and then right click, and there's actually going to be a 4th option for this type of plot where we're going to set as, like, you can call it whatever for the purpose of this, like set as size, axes, something like that, right? And that should really be it. Like maybe maybe I've left out, you know, if we might change hues for coloring, but I mean, it's not too important if we miss that detail in this presentation or this demo. Okay, thanks guys.